here from barbstamps.com, and it's Thursday, so that means it must be 4 p.m. Pacific, 5 Mountain, 6 Central, and 7 Eastern, and I have a hair that's like hanging in my face. What is happening here? I can see it, but I can't get it. Does that ever happen to you? Like I can still see it. Oh, here it is. What is going on? I'm sorry. That's going to drive me crazy. Okay, so it's Thursday. Yay, we're live. Very exciting. My iPad, of course, has not caught up, but I can see a bunch of your comments already, and thank you guys so much. I appreciate all the love that I have gotten regarding me hitting my $1 million milestone. Disclaimer, right out of the gate. This is only achieved by less than 1% of the demonstrator population. There's the disclaimer. And I honestly can't believe that in Stampin' Up's 37-year history, I am the 94th person to do that. Like the 94th person worldwide. That to me, that's crazy. So, wow. It's been kind of a really fun week. I've had, excuse me, I've had a lot of you guys commenting on the posts that either Stampin' Up put out there or Dina and Kelly put out there or that I put out there. And I just thank you guys so much for all the support and all the love. I appreciate that more than you'll know. There's no way I could respond to everybody. I did try to go in and like most of the comments. If I skipped yours, it wasn't because I didn't like it. It was just because I was going through so quickly and I missed some. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it very much. I was very spoiled to get a lovely bouquet of flowers from Stampin' Up on Monday. No, it wasn't Monday. It was Tuesday. On Tuesday with my fabulous card. This is like an event in and of itself. It's not just a card, but when we flip the camera, I will share it with you guys because it is a work of art. Whatever designer did this for me, thank you from the bottom of my heart. It is perfect. They do ask you when you're getting close to your milestone, like what kind of stamps you're liking at the time, what your favorite colors are, that kind of stuff. And I did say that I was really liking. I like brights. I like brights all the time. I said, but I also really like strawberry slush. So perfect. And so they make you a card based on what you like, which is honestly very, very cool. So, and I also said, I do really just like flowers. I love flowers so much. And so there's my flower card. So that's very exciting. What else? My son came over on Tuesday after he got off work and we hung out with him for a while, him and the doggy. And then he stayed for dinner. So that was fun to hang out with him for a little while. Here is some big, big, big news, you guys. I know you've been hanging out here with me over the past, let's just say 15 months. As you all know, last summer, my daughter did pass all of her CPA exams. Then she went to work. She had to work for X number of hours, and she had to take an ethics exam and take one more college course. And then she could apply for her CPA license in the state of Colorado. Then she applied for the license. Accidentally, we put down our address in Wyoming because we didn't know how long it was going to take to get this whole thing finalized. And we didn't want them to mail her information to her old apartment because we didn't know if the stuff would get forwarded. We just didn't know. So we thought, well, let's just send it here to us in Wyoming. I'll make sure you get it. Apparently that was a huge problem. So then she had to do something, change something, call somebody, put in her address in Colorado. And then she got another notification that it was going to take a while for this to get approved. And then she got another thing that said that it had to go in for review. And she's just like, oh my gosh, I am never going to be a CPA. Never. Wednesday night at about 11:30 at night, she got an email that she is now an actual licensed CPA in the state of Colorado. So, whew, finally. So that is very exciting. So she can now sign her emails, Jaden Mulligan, CPA, which she's very excited about. So that is some big news happening in our world. So my husband and I just could not be more proud of her. And good Lord, waiting for that long that's rough. That is rough. So it's no wonder that the number of CPAs in the country is plummeting because a lot of the CPAs are retiring and there aren't enough people coming into the field to make up for the ones that are leaving. And if this is how I mean, and obviously this is the process. It is what it is. But that's a long process. 15 months after you've taken your exams in order to, well, I guess a lot of people probably have already been working in the accounting field, so they probably have their work hours maybe. But yeah, she finally. So we've got a lot of stuff going on here and we're very excited about all of it. So yes, and thank you guys again. I see tons of you guys commenting in the comments about both of these things. So thank you very, very much. I appreciate it so much. So yeah, my husband and I took a little razor ride up the mountains yesterday. For those of you that don't know, we live very close to the Bighorn Mountains, and we actually were able to leave our home and get to the mountain and get our razor unloaded and headed up the mountain in probably 20 minutes. So we live very close to the mountain, which is amazing. My husband is a big outdoors guy. He loves the outdoors. He loves the solitude, the quiet. And yesterday was a beautiful day. It was beautiful blue skies, not a cloud in the sky. There are two reservoirs up on the mountain that are very full in the beginning of the spring. And then as the, of course, farmers and whoever, pull water out of these reservoirs, they go lower and lower and lower. And so we went to both of them yesterday and we had lunch on the banks of one of them. And it was, oh my gosh, it was amazing. The water was still, it was so blue, so pretty, very cold. But the sky was beautiful blue, and the mountains, because we're on this side of the mountain where there was no fire last year, so it's beautiful green trees and all that good stuff. And we were just sitting there, eating our lunch, and it was just so amazingly peaceful. So if you are friends with me on Facebook, I did post some pictures yesterday of some of the things that we saw. I didn't take a whole lot of pictures because I guess I should. We go up there so often that to me it's like, I guess I kind of take it for granted in a sense because, I can look out my back door and see the mountains. We're that close. And then to actually get up there and go around, I've been up there so many times that, I don't want to say it's boring because it's not boring because it's still very beautiful, but it's not like the first time you see something, you're just like, oh, wow, so amazing. You know what I mean? So I do need to take more pictures when we go up there because what we see it's amazing. So anyways, we had a great time up there and yeah, it was really nice. I think we drove 50 miles yesterday. It took us about, I think we left the parking lot at 10 o'clock with our razor. And I think we got back to the parking lot at like 3:30. So a pretty good day, I would say. So yeah, it was really, really good. And yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. That's a lot, honestly, for a person who leads a very boring life, which is me. I prefer not to do anything or go anywhere. If I could just sit here all day in my house, I would be a happy woman. But I can't because I have to go to the store sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, very exciting around here. Thank you guys so much. All of you guys are congratulating Jaden. Yes, it's very exciting. She's hopefully going to come home over Thanksgiving. I guess I shouldn't say hopefully, she is coming home. I would like to get down there and see her before that, but I just don't know if it's going to work out. Yeah, I just don't know if it's going to work out. I'd like to. We'll see what happens. But I am going on a trip in November. My son's having his wisdom teeth out in December. Of course, then it's Christmas. We're already in basically October. So yeah, kind of crazy. So anyways, what else was, I guess that's all really that I have to say, a little bit of blah, blah, blah in the beginning of the video. I don't have any more than that, I don't believe. Oh, I have one more thing. We have recently started watching a show called The Guardian. It's on Paramount, if you guys have Paramount, which I'm assuming means it was a CBS show back in the day. I believe the show came out in 2001, or 2002, something like that. So it's a pretty old show, but it's really good. We've really been enjoying it. We finished the first season. There's 2 more seasons to go, and we're really liking it. So yeah, 3 months today is Christmas. Oh my gosh, Debbie, you're right. Yikes. Yeah, got to get on it. Whatever I'm going to end up doing, right? So we've been watching that, which has been really, really good. Except tonight we have football. So I don't really care who wins or loses tonight, though. I just like watching football. Some of you guys are saying you loved the show. Yay, that's good. So those of you that maybe haven't seen it, it's a good show. We're very much enjoying watching it. So it's hard to find things my husband likes. He's very picky about what he watches on TV. He doesn't like anything really new because there's all the different things in the shows that he doesn't care to watch. And so he likes to watch the old stuff. He prefers the old things. Plus, I guess the old things have actors like this show, The Guardian, has Dabney Coleman in it. And we both really like Dabney Coleman. I guess his most famous role would be in the movie 9 to 5 with, all the girls, Jane Fonda and all them, Dolly Parton and Lily Tomlin. Great show, which I'm sure you've all seen it. Who is playing tonight? Trish says, I believe it's the Cardinals and the Seahawks. I think. We'll see. And I just don't know who I would vote for, who I would want to win. I don't know as though I care, which is kind of crazy. Normally I have a team that I am rooting for, but I don't know as though I really have a team that I'm rooting for tonight. So we'll just have to see. Maybe I'll get a feel. Maybe their uniforms will make me excited about watching them. Or maybe there'll be some great players that I'll want to watch. I just don't know. I just don't know. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera and we will get started, and I will share with you my beautiful card, which, like I said, is more than a card. It's more like a work of art. So I don't know who made it. I actually should message Stampin' Up! And see if they could tell me that, because I would like to know and to like to thank them, because it's pretty amazing. Okay, let me fix my camera just ever so slightly. That did not work. There we go. That should work. Okay, so I've got, always have to do this thing, get the glasses on, get the hair pulled back so it's not hanging in my face. Okay, here is my card. So, as I said, Strawberry Slush is one of my favorite colors right now. And so you can see that my little card thing here was made with, I believe, two-tone cardstock. So we have the light Strawberry Slush on the little cover part, and then we have the other side of the Strawberry Slush for the main thing. But look at this. I was trying to figure out where... Oh, okay, let me just show it to you first, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, so you pull this little top part off, and then you have this fun labels. I have to tell you, look at this. How this is like ombre, kind of. This inspired one of the elements on one of the cards I'm going to make for you guys today. So then you pull out the card out of the fabulous box, and then here's the front. And it even says, here's to a million on there. How awesome. And then you open this up. So look at that, how that opens up and goes, look at that. It's like so big. And then there's even a little pocket in here with a little note from Sarah and Shelley. How cool is that? They're excited and look forward to celebrating me in person, which should be probably next year sometime. So I'm pretty excited about that. But look how amazing this is. And then we have Pretty in Pink as our other color here. But I was trying to figure out, where did all these little flower pieces come from? And I did figure out that some of them, maybe all of them, I don't know, these might not, came out of the Bunch of Thanks card kit. It's a kit. And so I know that this little piece here, with the exception of some pool party leaves that they kind of tucked in there, and this little banner, came out of there. And we've got some foil sheets with my name. It's just like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. It's just, wow. This is definitely a wow card. I can honestly say I have never made a card like this. I probably should. But I don't know who I would give it to. I guess there's a lot of people I could give it to, but man, yeah. Isn't that just amazing? I pulled that open and I was like, oh my gosh, this just never ends. The amazingness of the thing never ends. We've got the ribbon. We've got that white and gold twine. It's just so many things about it that are just so cool. So anyways, thanks to them. All right. Last week, these are the two cards that I made. I wanted to spotlight the Choose Happy stamp set. So I used the little pumpkin to make this Happy Thanksgiving card. And then I used that cute little flower to make this card with the stripes and dots stamp set. So these were last week. All right. So this week, we have some things to discuss. My 12 weeks of holidays is going to be starting October 1st. So October 1st, it'll be on a Wednesday. Wednesdays, these emails will go out. There'll be one each week with 12 weeks of holiday ideas. So if you are not already subscribed to my newsletter, I'm sure lots of you already are, but if you're not, I do have a link. It's the first thing in the description of this video where you can go to my blog and subscribe to my blog and or my newsletter with the same link. So that's coming up starting next Wednesday, okay? What else do we have here? Ooh, we have the Stampin' Up! 12 days, or 12, what is it called? I don't even know. It's like an advent calendar. I can't remember what it's called. 12 days of crafting, maybe is what it's called. Anyway, it's a box. It's about a 12 by 12 from what I gather. And then it opens up. And then you have all these little doors. And then you have 12 doors of goodies. You also get, as a bonus, a stamp set. Okay, so there is a little stamp set. So that's like a baker's dozen of stuff that you get. Whoops, I hit the camera. A baker's dozen. And so then, like, behind each door, all the products are designed to coordinate together. They are products that we haven't sold in the past and we aren't going to sell in the future. So it's exclusive to this. I look at this as like a big suite of products because we have a stamp set. We know there's a die set in there and we know there's some designer series paper. That's all I know so far. But when I get mine, probably next week it'll come in. I'm going to open it up, the whole thing. I can't wait. Besides that, then I can create some projects to help you use yours also. So, of course, I would love it if you bought it from me. That would be awesome. But I mean, I get it. But if you do want to buy it from me, the item code is 167335. It's $99, which I feel like is right on par with a lot of these advent calendars on the market, whether it's makeup, skincare, shampoos, candles, beef jerky, wine, all kinds of things, pet treats, pet things. So anyways, that is going on right now. Okay. Obviously, if you order from me, I do have perks. $20 will get you Stampin' Rewards, 10% back. $35 will get you invited to the monthly Stamp Happy Party, which is happening October 8th. You also get my tutorial with any order. Whoops, not that one. I don't have these in the right order. Who's messing with my stuff? Probably me. There we go. That's what you'll get this month with any size order. The $35 order gets you the Stamp Happy Party. A $50 order gets you this global tutorial bundle. And then right now, $75 order will get you a little goodie from me, like a little mystery thing from me that I've been sending them out already. So I'm trying to keep up with that. So there you go. Coming up in October 1st, if you are on the fence or have been a demonstrator or would like to become a demonstrator, we have an amazing join special going on in October. $35 plus tax, if you live in a state that has tax, is what your cost is for our starter kit. In that starter kit, you get to choose $125 worth of products. Okay. Now in October, we will be having a pre-order as demonstrators. Let's see. Mary says, how do they get the it's a bigger square and it's a 6x6, Mary. I hope that helps. So $35 for $125 worth of stuff plus tax if you live in a state that has tax. So that's going to be a crazy, crazy deal. So you can get anything you want. Like I said, we're going to have a demonstrator pre-order coming up in October. So you should be able to add those items that are going to be online exclusives in November. You should be able to add them to your kit if that's what you want to do. So let's pay $35 and get $125, or you can pay $99 and get $189. I kind of like this deal better myself, and here's why. Because you're spending $35 and you're getting $125. If you want to actually get that extra, say, $60 of products, do this and then place your first order as a demonstrator for the other $60. That goes towards your quarterly minimums, plus you get Stampin' Rewards on that $60, and you get your demonstrator discount on that $60. So, me personally, unless you have, unless you want the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine or something like that, which wouldn't work for this kit, but would work for this one, I would go with this one. To me, this is the better deal, but you can decide for yourself. So I would love it if you joined my team. I do monthly team meetings. We do a team swap. I have a team Facebook group. Dana Kelly and I get together and do lots of team trainings. All of our team gets, what am I trying to say? Get the team trainings that we offer together, and we do other little perks and things like that. So it's a great team to be a part of. The three of us are amazing. And of course, I'm also amazing. So there you go. All right. So that starts October 1st. All right. I've talked about this before. If you are somebody who uses our Stampin' Blends and you are looking for a way to put a label on the end of them, I have a totally free download for you on my blog. If you go to my blog, barbstamps.com/shop, you can scroll through a couple of pages. I think just a couple of pages, and you'll find these downloads. I have 3 of them. One of them is the current in colors. One of them is last year's in colors, and then one of them is the in colors the year before that when I started making these. So there you go. All right. Stamp Happy Academy, Dina was live yesterday afternoon with some absolutely amazing projects. So I will be live next month on Saturday. I think it's the 4th, October 4th, I believe it's a Saturday. So I'll be live on that Saturday. And then of course Kelly will be live during the month, and so will Dina. So pretty low price paint to get all this amazing stuff from us, because we love you guys. And then adhesive kits, I always have them. And if you're in the market for some pre-made Christmas cards, I do have some available. There is a link in the description of this video. You can click on to purchase those. Okay, here we go with project number 1. I did get a few different products in this, or put into this. So here are some of my pieces and parts. We're also going to be using the Cajun Craze dots. We're using the Gathering Moment stamp set, and of course the coordinating dies for some leaves. I'm also pulling in the words for the season dies, because I'm going to cut the words out that say autumn wishes. And then the Peace on Earth dies, only because I wanted these labels that layer together really nicely. We've got tons of other labels. If you don't have these, I'm sure you've got some labels that layer in your arsenal. So we're going to start out. I have the labels already done. I did the smaller one out of Willow White Willow. I never will remember the name of that. And the other one I did out of Old Olive. Here's some scraps of White Willow. And the reason I chose the White Willow is because I have discovered that White Willow cardstock is a better match for any designer series paper that has white in it than our basic white. When you hold the two whites up together, the basic white does look a little bit more yellow, even though when it's all by itself, it does not look yellow at all. But compared to this, it looks a little bit more yellow. The only downside of this particular paper is that it only comes 12 by 12. Okay, so there you go. All right, let me... Oh, that's nice of you, Chris. Thank you. Okay, so then what we have is we have an Old Olive card base. This is 8.5 by 5.5. I folded it in half, and then I folded this under. Now, if you want, you can score this. You can score it at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. But I just like to fold it. I find that I get a better fold that way. So anyways, Linda said she didn't realize there was two whites. Yes, Linda, when Close to My Heart closed their doors, we did purchase a few of their product lines. One of them was their White Willow cardstock. We did purchase, I believe, their two-tone cardstocks, and then we made them our own. And then there was one or two other things. I can't remember exactly everything, but we didn't purchase the whole company. We just purchased a few of their product lines. And the White Willow cardstock was one of them. And I've just recently discovered this. Why it is that way, I have no idea, but it is. White Willow to me looks better with if you need to use white. Anyways. Yes, Debbie said flip flaps. Yes, Close to My Heart also had the flip flaps that they used on their scrapbook pages so that you could have more than one photo. And that was another thing that we purchased from them. So they did have some really great products. All right. So, and like I said, the White Willow only comes 12 by 12. Our basic white comes 8.5 by 11 and 12 by 12. So just keep that in mind. Okay. So we are going to stamp some images onto this cardstock. And I'm using a few different colors. I'm going to use some Old Olive for the large leaf. So here's the large leaf. So we'll just stamp that right on there. I'm going to use my Early Espresso for an acorn. There we go. I'm going to use my crushed curry for this little guy right here. I just have some scraps of it. And then I also have some Cajun Craze, and I'm going to stamp one of these little guys, and then two of these little guys. Okay. So that should be everything that I need stamped. So I'm going to close these up so I don't make a mess. And then I would run all of these through with their coordinating dies through my my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And there I have my acorn and my two little berry pieces, and then the rest of my leaves. And these I will save and use on something else. Okay, so we have those. The next thing I did was I took these, what are they called again? Words for the Season. I just got these, so I can't remember what they're called. And this is a set of dies that has words for the season. There are 10, and we have the word Merry, Halloween, Christmas, New Year, holidays, greetings, happy, and autumn, and wishes. And those are the dies. And then there is a label. This does also have a coordinating stamp set, which of course you could use the label on, but I didn't get the stamp set. I just got the dies. So I did go ahead and cut out the 2 words. Let me bring in a white piece of paper so we can see what we're doing here, because it looks a little better popped up on white. So when you cut it out, you get the word wishes with the W being separate and the word autumn with the A being separate. Why? I don't know. Just how they wrote it out. So, and then there is a little tittle that does come out to dot the I. That is, of course, if you have been with me for a while, you know I've talked about the tittle before. It is the little dot of a lowercase I or a lowercase j. It's the tittle, which is a very funny word, but it is what it is. So I am not going to use the tittle. I thought that this little thing that came off the W would kind of work as the tittle. And the other reason is because I lost it. There you go. So what I want to do is I wanted to take, this inspired me, how they did the word congrats, how it's ombre on here. So I wanted to kind of mimic that using a Stampin' Blend marker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to color it about halfway up the letter, or up the word. We're starting with the W here. And now we'll come over here and we'll go up about halfway on the whole thing. And this is the dark. I'm using a dark Cajun Craze blend. The light doesn't really show, I have found, if you use the light color. But blends are pretty amazing things, and they work for lots of stuff. So let me get those out of the way. And now we'll bring in the word autumn, and we'll do this one also. So let me just get this, maybe a tiny bit on that part of the A. And then I'm going to hold on to the T here since it's a little bit higher. So I can kind of hold on to that. And I did, you guys aren't going to believe this, but I did run this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine with adhesive sheets on the back, so that when I go to try to glue this down, it's going to be pretty easy for me. I can just peel off the adhesive sheet and then I'm ready to go. Okay, so now after I've got that done, let me bring this up to the closer to the camera, and you should be able to see the difference in the word, how it's a little darker towards the bottom. I think I saw a spot that I missed right there. Yep. A little darker. Okay. Then I went back in, or I wanted to go back in and make the bottom part even a little bit darker. Okay. Just to add even more interest to it. If we just put the very bottom and make it even darker. So I'm just kind of going over this again, just at the bottom. And I'll do the same with this word here. So cool. And I've done this before. Like before we had two-tone cardstock, if you wanted to have more than one shade of one of our colors, using a blend was a really good way to achieve that. Okay. Try that one more time. Okay. And now you can tell, at least I hope you can, that the bottom is even just a tiny bit darker. So I just thought that looked pretty cool. So that's what we're doing. So now what we're doing with this card is we're going to make it an easel card. That's why I folded the other part in. Okay. So then I also have layers of Cajun Craze and layers of the Gathering Together Designer Series paper. So this little space here is 2 1/8 by 5 1/2. So my layer is 2 by 5 3/8. And then this is 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. So I just have a little bit showing around on the edges. So we'll go ahead and we'll add these together. Whoops, you got to get out of there. And then we'll add this. And like I said, then we just have a little bit of the border of the Cajun Craze cardstock showing through. Okay, I think like so. Did I screw that up? Maybe just a teeny tiny bit. Not too bad. Okay. And then these should fit nicely right in these little spaces here. So we'll go ahead and add them with some glue. Oh, you know what? I have to share a card with you that I got from a friend of mine. Her name is Sherry. I just thought of this. Anyways, she sent me this amazing card, and it has, look at the envelope. It says, "Amazing, you did it." And then you open it up, and it was a beautiful card with the butterfly congratulating me for my 1 million, which I thought was really sweet of her. So thank you so much, Sherry. I appreciated that very much. And for some crazy reason, the mail got here super fast. Sherry lives in Florida and I live in Wyoming, and I think I got the card on Monday and I hit my million on Thursday. So that doesn't normally happen. The post office is usually pretty slow getting stuff from anywhere to Wyoming. So that was kind of crazy. Okay. So that's what we have so far. And like I said, we're going to make it an easel card, so it's going to be able to sit up like that. So I've already done the inside. Mostly, I need to make my little pop-up mechanism. I did stamp the sentiment out of the Gathering Moments stamp set. I really like this sentiment here. And then I put a little strip of the Designer Series paper down. This is the green with the gold, the olive with the gold. And then I stamped a couple of little leafy pieces, the Cajun Craze. I'm trying to think of what I'm doing here, and then I can't think. Okay, so what I wanted to do was pop this whole thing up. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to attach that acorn. I got to put this glue somewhere. There's too much. So I'm going to try to stick it on my hand. So I'm going to try to attach this acorn to these two little pieces here. And then I'm going to use dimensionals to attach that. I need to get a silicone mat here. Oh! Because that didn't stick. And that maybe stuck, put too much glue on that. All right, so let's press that down and get that all nice and stuck together. Because I want the whole thing stuck together so that I can put the dimensionals behind it. And now I've got to rub all that glue off my hand, for heaven's sakes. Okay. Looking for some mini dimensionals. Where are they? I have all these pieces of dimensionals here. I think I need to use some minis because these little spaces aren't very big. Well, you know what? I could probably use a big one here, right in between all of those. And so I have found that if I press my fingernail into a dimensional, then the side of the paper backing will pop up for me. Okay. And now we can stick this little guy right here. So cute. Add this to the inside. And my white layer is 4 by 5 1/4. And then my piece of Designer Series paper is 3/4 by 5 1/4. So that way we have something for that to bump against. When the person opens up the card, then it'll bump against that. Okay, so now we need to do the labels. So we're going to decorate the white label. So I've got the Autumn Wishes. So I'm going to peel off the word, the autumn here. So I'm going to kind of pinch it between my two fingers. And then I'm going to try, there we go, to push my take your pick tool in there to kind of get that adhesive to come off. And there we have it, and it did come off. Ugh, can't get a hold of it. Okay, and I want to stick that about right here. Okay, and then we'll do that same thing with the letter A. I'll bring my fingers, kind of pinch my fingers together, my thumb and my finger, and I can't even see because my eyes are terrible, but I'm just pushing the tip of my take your pick tool, trying to separate those two, and it will eventually find it and separate them for me. Okay, and then we're going to add the A here. There we go. And then we'll bring in the ishes, I guess, since we don't have our W quite yet. Right now we just have autumn ishes. And yes, definitely was a good idea to use the adhesive sheets. That was a good idea. Okay, and we're just going to kind of stick that down, and then we'll bring in the W, do the same thing that we've done with all the rest of them, and just kind of try to push that in there. Ooh, I just had it. Come on, you. There we go. And then the backing paper comes off pretty easily. That one, I actually had to use 2 pieces. Well, I didn't have to. I was just trying to be stingy with it and not, use a brand new piece. So because I did that, now I have all these little pieces to pull off, which thankfully they weren't that bad. Okay. And then we're going to put the W on here. And we're going to try to put it on so that it kind of looks like this little bloop here of the W is our tittle for the eye. Okay, so now you can see if I bring it up close, you can see that there's definitely some gradation of color there from dark to lighter, and that's just our fabulous Stampin' Blends. Okay, so let's add these labels together. I think I'm just going to go straight down the middle with dimensional pieces here. And again, if you press your finger in, you can just kind of see that edge lift up. And I know a lot of people take their pick tool. That's just not for me. It's just so much easier for me just to use my fingernail. Okay, and now we're going to stick this on here, but of course we have to make sure that we don't have any glue on this part and just have it sit like that. So what my thought was we do that, and then we bring in our old olive leaf, and we'll just kind of attach it there. And then we also have the little, whatever that color is, and something along those lines was kind of what I was thinking. So we're going to add a little glue here and get it right on the edge. And then we'll add some glue to this old olive piece. And I'm just trying to a little bit go over, not completely over the words, but maybe just slightly so that they all fit on there. That'll work. And then as far as dimensionals go, again, we want to make sure that we don't go over the middle, because then obviously it's not going to stick the way we want it to. So we're going to go with 5. I'll press my fingernail into all of those. And then there come our dimensional backings. So easy. All right. And I want this to be about like that. And if I did it right, yay! And then it'll be closed within the envelope, opened, and then it'll sit like that. Super fun. Let's bring in our Cajun Craze dots and add a little bit of bling so that when the thing is closed, whoops, we'll have some bling out here. And then maybe we could put a little dot right here, right in the little space here that this little label makes. Oh, I'm trying to get it in the middle, and it It's giving me the business, as Beaver used to say. I'll leave it to Beaver. Okay, final thing. I'm going to tie a tiny little bow with some old olive. I can't remember if this is thread or baker's twine. I think it's thread, linen thread. So we're going to try to do, oh, this is probably way too much thread. I don't know how big of a bow I thought I was going to tie, but not this big. Okay. Yeah, I needed it to be a little smaller. So let's make that a little smaller. Whoops, this one is the one I need to pull. I'm trying to make the loops about the same. And then we'll pull them tight. And then we'll snip off the excess. We've made a double bow. Here's what we've got. And I need a glue dot. And then I'm just going to kind of stick that right at the end of the issues. Roll that up into a little tube, as one does. And then we can just stick that right there. Okay. So pretty. Just a fun little card. And oh, that ombre thing. I will be doing that again. Mark my words. You guys will come back to a live in the future, and I will definitely be doing that again. With what? I don't know. Probably Merry Christmas. That seems like the perfect thing. Or Happy Holidays. Was there a Merry Christmas? Is that what was in there? Or did I make that up? Yes, Merry Christmas. I thought there was a Merry Christmas in there. I don't think I was making that up. You never know. Oh, and just for reference, this is our masking paper. If anybody was wondering, it comes in 6x12 sheets, and there are 12 sheets in the package. So super, you can use a lot. You can get a lot of die cut things out of a pack of this paper, a pack of that, if you don't already have it. And you were wondering what it was about. That's what it's about. Okay, let me put this off to the side so I don't, mess it up while we're still working here. I'm probably going to need my take your pick tool. But I don't need, oh no, I got a dimensional over here stuck on my desk. I don't know where that came from. Okay, so then my other card is using one of my other favorite things. You guys are probably going to get sick of this, but I just cannot. I love this so much. That and the paper, to me, is just, I had to get another pack of paper. Because this is all I had left, and that's not enough. So I had to get another package of it. So it's got these beautiful gold accent pieces on one side of the papers, and then the just black and white patterns on the other. Absolutely fabulous. Here are a few things that I've done with it over the weeks that we've had it available. I have this card here. I don't remember if I did this last week or if I did it for something else, but it just makes the most amazing cards. I've got this one. Love it. This one I definitely did on a live when I made an ornament. So we just added, sneak. Oh, goodness, excuse me. Wow. Got the strips of paper back there in the opening of the tree. And in case you guys did not know, we sell these loose gold sequins in the big book, the big catalog. Perfect complement to this set. I've got this one here that I got in a swap. This one that I got in a swap also. A fun fold. This one I made here a few weeks ago, not with the gold and the black and the white, but just taking the trees and adding, doing that. And then I have this one here where I colored the paper or shaded spruce and then added some other details. So I just cannot get enough of this suite of products, as you can probably tell, because we're using it again because I love it so much. Okay, thank you. I did not mean to sneeze. That was terrible. All right, so today what we're going to do is we're going to throw some red into the mix. So we've got a little scrap of red here. And again, the basic white thick cardstock, 8.5 by 5.5, folded in half. I cut a little piece of this. This is the Fa La La paper, or I did do some blending on it last week, I think, and I used blue. So, but I need the Fa La 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 this time, and this is a 2 by 4 3/4, I'm pretty sure. Yes, 2 by 4 3/4. Then this is a 3.5 by 4 3/4 inch piece of basic white. And then this is a 3 5/8 by 4 7/8 layer of black. And all of these are going to get layered together. So let me go ahead and do that right now. Sometimes I like to bring in a grid paper. It sometimes helps me get things lined up. If you're trying to center something, like in this case, I am. And so I'm going to use this grid paper, and I'm going to have 3 blocks below and 3 blocks above, and it should, quote unquote, be even. But it probably isn't, because my eyeballs play tricks on me literally all day long. So this was a skosh long, so we are going to trim that off. And then we can go ahead and add it to our layer of black. This card is going to be very simple. This would be a card that you could definitely do. I think, like, if you wanted to make a bunch of Christmas cards. Yeah, that's crooked. Exactly like I said it would be. Anyway, it is what it is. It's a handmade card. There's nothing I can do, right? Okay, so we have that. And like I said, this could be a card that you could make a lot of, I think. So we're going to take the 'Tis the Season sentiment out of the stamp set, and we are going to do a little embossing. So I'm going to get my little embossing buddy out here. Wow, this embossing buddy has gotten a lot of use since I got this ornamental Christmas bundle, because I just can't stop using it. Okay, got a Versamark pad, so we're going to ink up our stamp. And those of you that may be brand new to watching me, when I ink up a stamp with Versamark, I ink it up until I think I have enough ink on it, and then I always add some more. Because I honestly do not believe that you can have too much ink when you're working with Versamark. All right, so we're going to stamp this here on our layer. And then I am going to cover it with some gold embossing powder, because, of course, the gold and black and white, we have to use gold. And then I just kind of tap it a little bit just to get all the little bits of embossing to stick on my ink. And then flick it, and hopefully all the bits are now off. So I'm going to move this out of the way, because I'm going to bring in my heat tool, and I don't need embossing powder flying everywhere. So we will let this get warmed up just a bit, because it's kind of loud. So, oh my gosh, what are we talking about here? Oh no, Judy had knee replacement surgery today. Oh my gosh, Judy. Speedy recovery to you, and big hugs. Hopefully you're not in too much pain. All right, we're going to heat set this. Oh, I could do this all day, every day. It's just the coolest thing ever, and it never gets boring to me. Okay. So we have that. Now, I'm going to let this cool off really quick. This is real red, Carol. I'm going to let this cool off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to rub this on my leg. I can't get my leg up this high, so you can't actually see me rub it on my leg, but I'm going to stick it on my pants, and I'm going to rub it a few times so that I can get a lot of this powder off. Excuse me. So that way I've got the powder off there. So then there's an ornamental die in here. At least I think I have it in here. Do I have it in here? Oh yes, I do. Good. Okay. And so the ornamental die will just fit over here really easy. And what you could do, if you did decide you wanted to make a whole bunch of these cards, you could just die cut a bunch of these and then just emboss on them rather than doing this. This way you kind of have to be, so careful about the placement and if it's straight and blah, blah, blah. But maybe you could just die cut it and then stamp it. So anyways, you would die cut that, and then this is what you would get. So you'd have a real red, got embossing buddy powder all over my desk, a real red ornament. Okay, then you need to take your, where's my dies? This little label piece right here. It's actually kind of designed to go over this. Well, actually, I can show you. It was designed to put that detail into this particular ornament, okay? But it also makes little circles, and so you do need to get yourself a red circle. Where is my red circle? Here it is. So this is the largest circle. So now I have an ornament and a red circle. Then we also need to do some gold, cutting with some gold, and we're going to get this large star and an ornament cap. So here is our ornament cap, and here is our large star. So those are out of gold foil. Okay, so we have this piece here, and now this suite of products, as you probably know, there is some black and gold and white baker's twine, or no, yes, baker's twine. That's part of this suite of products. And so I am going to use the black on this. So I just need a couple of small little pieces. So you can see you don't need very much. Whoops, if your scissors work, you don't need very much. We don't need very much. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a glue dot on the back of this ornament right here at the top of it. And then I am going to press the twine into my glue dot so I can get it in the middle. Okay. Then we need a couple of dimensionals, and I'm looking around trying to find, I've got these sheets that are almost used up. Actually, we could probably put one up here close to that. So again, just press my fingernail into everything. That releases the backing paper, and you can just flick those off, no problemo. Okay, so I have a sample here that I'm copying that I did for a swap, but I changed the colors. So I'm going to add this to my card about like so. I'm going to take some glue and add it to this little top of the ornament here. Whoops, must have a glue booger in there. Okay, and then we're going to take this little ornament top, ornament cap, I don't know what you call it, and we're going to add it to the top of the ornament here. Try to make it nice and straight if we can. There we go. That's not straight. These eyes of mine, I tell you. Then the star, we're going to like bring in here, and I think I'm going to have to snip off some of it so that I can get it to be under there where I need it to be. You might need to go even a tiny bit more. Yes, and so this I want to be fairly close to the top, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add a glue dot to the back of the star, and we're going to put our twine into that glue dot, and then I'm going to bring in a dimensional right in the middle, and then we're going to tuck this underneath our ornament and have it be a little bit higher as far as where the tape, the twine goes. So then now what we have to do is just pull these to the back and do what I like to do and use Scotch tape, because to me that's easier than trying to put some glue back there. But if it's easier for you to put glue back there, then that's what you should do. Okay, so then we have our little red circle that'll fit right in the middle of our star. But I wanted to ask your guys' advice. I also have a little circle with, look at one of those, peppermints. What do you guys think? Does the peppermint ruin the whole thing? So I'm going to let the peppermint sit there for a second for you to look at it. Peppermint? No peppermint. What do you guys think? Peppermint or no peppermint? I'll let you guys figure that out while I go ahead and add this to our card base. So I am going to use some dimensionals here. And again, a little dig with the fingernail pops that paper backing right off. And here we go again, trying to center things on a card. Okay. All right, let's see. So far, everybody has said yes to the peppermint. Okay, I wasn't sure if it needed to be like black. You know what I mean? Did I need to bring something in that was black? Or could the peppermint work? So it looks like everyone who's answered so far has said peppermint. So guess what? Peppermint wins. So I'm just going to add a little glue to the center of our star. And then we're going to put the peppermint on here. Oh no, I put too much glue. Don't do that. But I did kind of catch it. So maybe if I don't touch it, it'll dry clear and we'll be good. Okay, so we have our little peppermint. Oh, so cute. Then for the inside, I took this little kind of, I don't know what this is. I don't know what you call it. I just call it a banner because that's what it looks like to me. So I started in the middle. Obviously, I didn't put the full width of it on there. I just put a little bit. And then I tried to stamp 2 off to the side. I don't love how it turned out, but I like the fact that there's a little more interest on the inside of the card. So I think it could take, it could be one of those things where, it might take a little practice to get it to look correct. But I thought, I think it's fine. I don't want to waste a whole bunch of white cardstock. Is that pencil? What is that? I thought maybe it was a pencil line, but it does not appear to be a pencil. So is it, I don't think it's glue. I don't know what that is. Urgh. Anyway, it is what it is. I can't change it now. Okay, so there it is. The outside and then the inside. And then look at this. This is the swap that I just recently did. I did it with pink because I kind of like pink for Christmas too. So what do you guys like the better, the red or the pink? I can't decide. I did really like the pink, but I wanted to do something different for you guys because I just thought, oh, you know what? Swags. That's a good thing to call it, Linda. Thank you. But I just thought maybe, maybe you might like to see it in a different color combo. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. All right, so we have that today, and we have our beautiful ombre autumn wishes card that I love. And there it is. Oh, you guys are definitely more traditional Christmas people, I can see. I don't blame you. Of all the weird colors, I do like pink for Christmas. Stampin' Up's had some super cute paper over the years that's had some pink in it. And I always was a traditional Christmas girly, a red and green, maybe some blue because of snowflakes. But then when they started incorporating some pink, I was like, oh, I just kind of like the pink. And I still do. So there you go. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you again for all of your support on me reaching my $1 million sales milestone. I appreciate that very much. And I hope you guys have a great week. And I will see you here next Thursday, guys. Don't forget about the Advent calendar that's on sale right now. And then the Join special will go live on Wednesday. And I will see you here on Thursday. All right, guys. Have a week, and I will see you then. Bye-bye.